covered a lot of pretty neat ideas, visions, and opportunities spanning open data, sustainability, especially the recycling initiative you talked about, Kelly, for small to mid-sized businesses, which is very cool. But we've also talked about collaboration and ecosystems, and we're not halfway done. I want to introduce now to talk about what this means for you is Mr. Tom Koenen, Director General for the Federation of German Industries. And of course, I don't have backlighting, so I can't read my own handwriting. We can have fun with that later. But Tom, please come to the stage. Thank you.
Well, good morning again. I have the privilege with Tom to make an exciting announcement together with our friends from Germany, together with a number of other important manufacturers. Together with a number of important other manufacturing regions around the world. You heard a little bit from the previous panelists and discussions about this idea of manufacturing data spaces. Try one more move. International Manufacturing X. If I can get the team to advance to the next slide, or actually I use the clicker here. There's a press release going out today together with our international community of countries. The organizations are listed at the bottom of this slide, but we'll touch more on each of them in a moment. But this is an historic moment where we get to take the ideas that SESMII has been working on and investing in for over 5 years now, this notion of the democratization of smart manufacturing, how we take people, processes, and data and liberate them from the complexity and cost of the past and make a much more effective, enable a much more effective way of driving value, creating value, helping people make better decisions for their manufacturing operations, enterprises, and supply chains. And so the opportunity we have now is to take that to the next level and collaborate with a global set of manufacturing regions on these opportunities, these challenges in a global supply chain, in a global manufacturing environment. And so the reasons for doing this are clear. I think Dominic and previous panelists have all underscored the global nature of manufacturing and the need for standardization and harmonization of how we treat data. The notion that manufacturing operations and suppliers still essentially work on the foundation of emails and phone calls and fax machines to exchange data is something that is a fundamental inhibitor to value creation and is something that needs to be addressed at scale. And because we're not a regional manufacturing supply chain, as was already stated, this is a challenge we need to address on a global scale.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure being here. My name is Tom Koenen, and first of all, there was a little mistake. I'm very flattered, but I got promoted instantly today. I'm not general manager. I'm just the head of department, digitization, innovation with the Federation of German Industries. This is the umbrella association for all German industries. So I'm very happy to be here and to represent German industries a little bit here. And we want to talk about our mission first. So International Manufacturing X has got a mission, a vision, and action. And this is what we want to present to you very quickly for just a few minutes here. We're going to start with data. Jeff Winter very interestingly presented us how data has upscaled, very much so. But the best data doesn't help you if you don't make it work. So this is what you need to do. You got to make it work on a company level, on a national level. This is, of course, what you guys do, but also on an international level. And I'm representing German industry, which is a very export-oriented industry, so we understand from the bottom of our heart that we got to think internationally to start with, together with good partners. So what IMX, International Manufacturing X, which we are really presenting to you for the first time today, is all about is making data work on a global level. So it's a global scale, it's across industries, and it is trying to involve the most essential stakeholders from the beginning onwards. So the sentence you see on the bottom there is really important because it puts everything in a nutshell. IMX will implement a federated, decentralized, and collaborative data ecosystem for smart manufacturing, and that really on a global level. And we also got a vision.
Yeah, and I think it's important to underscore that manufacturing operations, in many cases, struggle to exchange data within their own data silos. And so we understand that, which at its core is part of what CESMII, Platform Industrie, and other manufacturing regions are addressing at a national level. But the massive opportunity that we have to advance the state of manufacturing competitiveness is going to be around enabling that flow of data across our supply chains. And so these three core pillars of resilience, sustainability, and competitiveness to, number one, help us reorganize and increase flexibility and autonomy of industrial value chains and networks, increase the efficiency, enable data-driven solutions for greenhouse gas, carbon emissions, and the circular economy, and last but not least, accelerating digital innovations and enable new data-driven business models to create new value for manufacturing. This elevates these objectives from within the enterprise to the supply chain, and this is how we allow particularly the sort of top-down pull from the large enterprises in this manufacturing environment and the sort of grassroots ability for the small, medium enterprises to engage in this value creation exercise. Without this sort of effort, we believe that digital divide remains and expands. We absolutely have to create the trust frameworks, the data sovereignty, simplification of data sovereignty policies and strategies, and all of the manufacturing technologies, data engineering, infrastructure, interoperability-related components have to come together in a much more effective way to bridge that digital divide and enable this sort of fundamental transformation of how manufacturing supply chains can work around the globe.
Right, and it's always good to have one slide that at least tries to explain it all.
Yeah.
This is the one you see here. This is trying to explain how IMX should actually work, and of course you're going to get those slides later on. So, if you look at the bottom, it starts with the thing that is really essential, with regulatory framework and standards. If we don't have the standards and the framework, we cannot collaborate. It's just impossible. You can have the best technical devices, it just won't interoperate. Then you need shared technological base layers, of course, and this is where we start talking about things with CESMII and with others. This is where we start cooperating. Then we have shared services, of course, that companies can rely on, really. And then you come to the business cases. You got to have those foundations first, and this is what we work on very hard these days. And then you're going to have the business cases. And this is not a list that is finalized. You have product innovation that will come about, collaboration, efficiency, product optimization, autonomous factory on a totally different level than we see it today. Supply chain transparency, resilience, a thing that is very important to us in Germany as well. Energy, greenhouse gases, circular economy, and this list goes on. And it's like with all the other technological innovations, I don't want to mention the internet, but nobody would have thought of what will come out of it. And neither can we. There will be many business cases that we cannot think of today that will be based upon this idea. I'm very convinced of that. And in the end, we will have digital products, of course, that will all lead to the facts that John just described. It's about resilience, sustainability, and competitiveness.
And a powerful part of sort of the framework around all this is the people side. And a significant effort will be made to ensure that the workforce, all of the different functional roles that are part of this transformation and part of this initiative are engaged in an effective way around these important initiatives. At a macro level, this is about taking this community, all of the key stakeholders here as a part of this community, and connecting value chains, implementing the global foundations for data-driven, resilient, sovereign, and climate-neutral production, and enabling innovation at a scale that we haven't seen to date. This is truly about the democratization of smart manufacturing to create a more productive, more sustainable, and more effective, competitive manufacturing environment.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, where are you at with all this now? This is where we have the action coming in here. So what we are trying to do now, and we're actually doing it, is we're providing use cases, very practical use cases that we also already offered at Hanover Fair and other fairs that will present to the public, to the interested public, of what it is in the end that we are trying to establish here. And we're also talking with standardization boards right now all over the world in order to get those foundations in line very, very early on. And in the end, and maybe not last but not least, we're trying to provide guidelines on how to use that in order to make it scalable and to scale it up. And this is very important, I think, also for the US, but also for Germany, because it was said before, the big companies, we don't have to worry about very much. They will be able to deal with all this quite well. The small and medium-sized companies, the German Mittelstand, this is the companies that we need to really address, and this is where guidelines and help will come into place in order to have them on board and to scale it up on that level as well.
Outstanding. So, in conclusion, a couple of things. I have the privilege of representing the United States of America on this new International Manufacturing X Council. There are a collection of 10 countries, I believe at this moment, that are part of this, and that number is growing. There are more details available. If you are interested in what we've discussed here and announced here today, please open up your camera or approach us in the booth and talk to us about International Manufacturing X. This presentation, an extended version of this, is available online as well, and we'd welcome the chance to share that with you.
Yeah. Last but not least, we were just saying this needs to be international. And international, is much more than US and Germany together. This is important, of course, as a nucleus. But you can see here that we have 8 countries aboard already. And we just started, actually. So if you look at those countries here, it's Austria, it's France, it's Japan, it's the Netherlands, it's, of course, the US, it's Germany, it's Canada, Italy, Australia, and South Korea. So the industry-strong countries we got aboard. We're just starting, but there's a great road ahead of us.
Thank you, Tom.
Home, you have something to say, it wasn't an empty trip. Sure, we'll talk about salary. So, what we've, just looking at this slide, what's evident is this announcement of International Manufacturing X is clearly bigger than this part of a conference center, bigger than Greenville, bigger than anything. And this is something exciting. But with such a massive reach, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to open up a live feed right now to the European Big Data Value Forum in Valencia, Spain. And it is very weird seeing ourselves on stage, but I want to hand it over to my moderator counterpart on that side of the event, Anna Garcia. Anna, I think the camera's there. Anna, the stage is yours.
Hello. Greetings from Valencia. I hope you can hear me well. That's a sign that the sound is good. Can you hear me?
Now.
Excellent. Well, greetings from Valencia from the European Big Data Value Forum. And we are really glad of being here. It's very exciting. We had similar presentations just before. And well, Simon, how is it going over there?
It's going quite well.
Excellent. So we have a few questions here for the panelists over there. I don't know whether Kelly is in the room.
And I think the
Henning
camera is
in the room,
behind
yes.
you, just as the camera here is behind me.
No, the quality of the sound is not very good, so we couldn't understand you here.
Anna, the joys of industrial FaceTime here. Anna, the camera is to your right, facing your stage. Perfect.
Okay, that's very good. So I just, we were wondering whether we could ask a question to Kelly.
Yes, here.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now we see well. Kelly, we have a question here for you. CESMII is one of the 17 competence centers from the Manufacturing USA initiative. So tell us, what are the specific focus topics in the USA in the area of manufacturing? And also, what are your expectations from the International Manufacturing X Council?
Great, thank you for the question. So Manufacturing USA, 17 institutes covering a range of topics, everything from the digital thread and smart manufacturing, cybersecurity, the things we're talking about here today, to the hardware and the materials, from composites, lightweight materials, bioprocessing, and many more. There is one new institute. There's a request for information out around semiconductor manufacturing that will be run out of the Department of Commerce. So collectively, these institutes make up a national network. And as I said to our local audience here, this is something I personally have been working on for the last decade, and it is tremendously satisfying to see the success of these institutes collectively and the impact they're making, not just nationally, but now internationally. And so this program and the connectivity of the data is absolutely essential for us to be able to harness the power of the innovations coming out of these institutes to address opportunities for economic growth, as well as solve some of these very critical and important societal challenges we're facing with climate change, sustainability, circularity, and others. So it's a pleasure to be here, and so cool we're doing this international Zoom call.
This is great, Kelly, and we talk a lot about sustainability and impact here in the event. So thank you very much. We have now a question for Markus. And Markus, we know manufacturing is very important in Germany. So what is planned further in Germany, and how is the relation between Manufacturing X and other initiatives? And also, if you allow me, knowing that now International Manufacturing X Council is announced in Japan, Korea, and now in the US and Europe, now together. So what are your expectations also from International Manufacturing X, and what is the feedback that you are receiving from other countries?
Well, the bottom line for every participant, be it a company, be it a state or a country in the network, is that they want to excel in manufacturing. And that is something that has to do with a core of entrepreneurial spirit, thinking, and we believe that bringing all those together who think in essence the same way is a good thing. And in the end, there is an economy of scale to this as well, because the more people, companies, and countries join International Manufacturing X, the better the network, the ecosystem will be. And that is something that is very much in our thinking high on the agenda. So yes, for the German government, it's extremely important that we join forces, come together, exchange views, but then bring database manufacturing forward. And that is why we from the government try to support it the way we do. Thank you.
Anna, we have a question from our end, and this is for Mr. Lazaro. Oscar,
Perfect.
from what we understand, you're headed up a significant initiative for Europe to support smart manufacturing. Could you share with the audience here in Greenville, as well and in Valencia, some of the content that you're orchestrating, as well as what you can see as some of the contributions to this announcement?
Yeah, I think Oscar can help us to answer this question.
Thank you, Anna, and happy to join the audience in the US here from Valencia. And getting back to your question, I think one of the things that we first realized when we were trying to bring together the right instrument to move forward in putting or making a reality these manufacturing data networks that we are trying to build with this initiative, is that we needed to unify a number of elements. Manufacturing data networks are basically the results of aligning and unifying some views in terms of standards, investments, and efforts that, at least in Europe, they are now being pushed significantly, not only at European level, but at national level. We see that industry is very eager to take advantage of these new ways of exploiting data, but creating these data spaces and taking advantage of this manufacturing network requires that we run and we develop things a little bit in an innovative way. And if we really want to reach far, we need to be together. And this is basically what this effort and this association that was created, called the Data Space 4.0, is really intended for. We understood that only sharing all the knowledge that was accumulated, only discussing and selecting all those standards that will make these data space networks a reality, we can really make a significant progress and make the global impact that we really need. These things will not affect just a single country, a single continent. It is something global, but it has to be built from the local effort, from the national effort. And this is what we are trying, and this is still an ongoing process. We are learning how to build these new ways of creating and aligning all these investments and visions together. And I guess the International Manufacturing Council will do nothing more than really bringing this joint effort to the global scale that we need.
Yeah, and I think actually from my side, I would like now to send a question back to your side, Simon, and in particular, I would like to know from John, as he's heading CESMII. I would like to know from you, John, what are your, what is your association planning as next steps as part of, the International Manufacturing X? And what do you think will be the contribution from your association to the initiative, to the global initiative?
Thank you. I appreciate that question very much. In many ways, what we're talking about doing here at the supply chain and at the national and international level is an extension of what we've been working on already with our friends from Germany to drive harmonization and interoperability and standardization of the sorts of activities and capabilities necessary to enable manufacturing, large and small. And so from our perspective, this is a very natural growth or extension of the work that we're doing. The charter we have from the Department of Energy for the next level of investment that they've shared with us and provided us with is around scale and deploy and how we can take these capabilities to the marketplace in a much more scaled up way. And so our opportunity is to channel this strategy and these funds to address exactly these challenges. How can we bring manufacturers and suppliers together in a much more real-time, heavily or well-orchestrated way to accomplish their business strategies? This is about value creation on a whole new scale. It takes more effective work at the plant, at the enterprise, at the supply chain, and then of course on an international level, how goods and services and data can be leveraged to accomplish that. So this is truly a natural extension of the work that CESMII's been privileged to do for a number of years, and obviously focused and supported and aided by the partnership with our friends from Germany, now expanded to a much larger global community.
Thank you.
Anna, we have a question from our end for Thomas Hahn, who I believe is sitting to your left, somewhere on the panel. I'm trying to figure out the industrial FaceTime or modern Zoom call here. But for Mr. Hahn, coming from an industrial company, what is your expectation of this announcement of International Manufacturing X? What would you like to see the Council pursue? And also for the audience here in Greenville and for the audience in Valencia, what's exciting about this for you?
Now it's better, sorry. There was a defect in the mic. Many thanks for the question, and yes, it's a pleasure for me to answer your the question, and a little bit from a perspective from industrial company, but I can tell you also for small and medium-sized enterprises is quite relevant. You know, when you're speaking about data economy, when you're looking around how you can optimize, topics. I think John, we were a little bit earlier connected to your conference, and you have also extended, presented about the resilience, about competitive and sustainability aspect. And only to look at the sustainability aspect, when you're really looking how we can optimize in this data, to get value out of the data, the product carbon footprint, or to reduce the CO2 emission, to make it quite pragmatic, or to have some kind of circular economy aspect, which also addressed before for batteries. This will help us. And here you need, and here are interested the bigger companies and the smaller companies, like I think from Tom mentioned before regarding German Mittelstand, but this is also true for other countries around the world. This will help us to optimize the existing processes for all our good, for our value, and to do it. Second issue is data or data economy, and again here is also true for small enterprises, but for big one is also to target to new business models, to new business opportunity. This is targeting a little bit the competitiveness topic which we have in our joint slide, and this is a second opportunity. So meaning small and big companies in the manufacturing domain, but you have seen also in the circle around connectivity to energy data spaces, to mobility or logistic data spaces is key for us to do this. For small and medium-sized enterprises, but for big one, and I'm more than happy. When you are asking me about the expectation, I'm more than happy that we are really addressing around the world some kind of a joint framework. I've seen the slide which I have shown some minutes before in Valencia. This is first an achievement that we have really some kind of similar slide or similar framework. It's not about the slide, it's about the framework which we're targeting. And the second issue is really, for example, to drive international standardization, to look where we can collaborate, how we can exchange lessons learned, and how we can do for all of us something more beneficial in the future. And this is true for small enterprises and the big one, so I see not a big topic. And let's say, looking really forward, and I have only to say, John, I think most probably we will meet us mid of January, because we will have some kickoff with all the others to make the next steps to start active working in this joint international manufacturing council. Many thanks and greetings to the US again.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn, and also Anna, and to your panelists in Valencia, thank you for being able to join us on this live stream. I also want to send a big thank you here to our panelists in Greenville, Mr. Dyke, Mrs. Visconsi, Mr. Hess, Mr. Bantheim, Mr. Romas, and Mr. Kube for joining us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you from our side as well to the audience in Greenville and here in Valencia, and to the panelists as well. Thank you.